Hi there. This is Christy. I am the president of the DFW Chamber. Thank you so much for being here. Um, I do website design, graphic design, and social media marketing for my business. My information, if Christine can put it in the chat for me, that will be great. Other than that, I am honored to be the president of this chamber. We are growing. We are 53 strong. We will have our first year anniversary coming soon. And Dr. Beasley, I haven't forgotten about you. Just been a little bit busy. Other than that, if you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email, and I will be happy to talk to you and answer any questions that are concerning about the chamber. And Chris, up to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Smith. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and what I really do is find out what's most important to my clients and help them figure out a plan, a goal to get to where they want to be, and then partner with them for the rest of their lives to make sure they get there. I'm also a 23-year veteran of the Air Force. And one of the things that I get to do with the chamber is schedule these member spotlight speakers that we have. And we have a great one today. We have Trey Coleman with 9line coming to speak to us today. And one of the things that I get to do is kind of use my intel career field that I worked in and just spy on them a little bit and figure out a little bit about them to talk about them. And one of the things that I can say about Trey is he seems to be a serial entrepreneur. If you go on Facebook, like just look up his name and look at some of the funny videos he has out there. I'm sure he'll explain a little bit of that today. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Trey.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Chris. Yeah, you're probably right. I am kind of a serial entrepreneur. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah, do look me up on Facebook, like you said. I'm kind of a busy person, and I'm up to a lot of weird things that are funny. So yeah, just check it out. I might tell you all a little bit about it here in a second, but yeah, I guess I can just kind of jump into. I put together a little presentation. I'm presenting on a company I started. I started at the beginning of the year. It is called My 9line. The company I started about, beginning of the year, or actually I kind of got it going and formed it the end of last year during COVID. I used to work for a company called Comcore, and I was what they call a channel manager, but I actually was laid off, due to COVID, and I already had all of these business ideas in my head, and I know COVID was a really weird year for everybody. It changed everything. Y'all know how that goes, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna use this opportunity to just start doing all of my entrepreneurial ideas. And so here I am. I've got 2 companies that I started, and this is one of them. So that's kind of how I got into that. So what is a 9line? A lot of y'all probably know because y'all are veterans. But for anybody that just might not know what a 9line is, it's the best way to calmly report that a soldier's injured. Basically, the military made this 9line because for anybody that's ever been in contact or suffered in casualties, that your adrenaline's going, and you got to be able to get on the radio and report clear and concisely what's happened, your location, and they basically made 9 lines that all you got to do is read these 9 lines out on the radio and then fill in the information on where you're at, what's going on. Is the pickup going to be hot? Is still being going to be enemy fire? That kind of stuff. So I kind of played on that and decided to call the company My 9line because with businesses, sometimes businesses need help. Sometimes businesses are struggling financially, or they're maybe something's going on with them, and they need to call out a 9line and get some assistance in business. So that was the thought process in coming up with the name for My 9line. You can go to the next slide. So just quickly, my story. I mean, I think we all like to see, old pictures. But basically, I was born and raised in the Dallas DFW area. Went through high school. I think 9/11 happened when I was a freshman in high school. But I looked over to my friend when it happened. We were watching it in school, and I was like, man, we're both going to be going to war with these people soon, and we're probably going to be a part of it. And sure enough, he went to the Air Force, and I joined the Army. Had a recruiter show up at the school, and that recruiter just knew the buttons to hit. He was like, "You look like a soldier," and I was like, "Oh yeah, do I?" Stroking that ego. So next thing you know, I was signing up for the Army. But yeah, did a tour in Iraq, 2007 to 2009. We were in this small town called Sabah Bor. And there's just some pictures of me, and I was a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout in the Army, and yeah, I was on the 50 cal a lot. That's a great weapon when the headspace and timing is dialed in perfectly. Some of you probably definitely can relate to that. But anyway, so I got out and I got out in 2012, and then went back to college. Got my degree, a business degree at DBU, Dallas Baptist University. And then, went through several jobs trying to figure out, what's a good fit. And then, like I just told you guys, that got laid off during COVID, and then just decided to go ahead and go for it with all of my, business ideas. You can go to the next slide. So here I'm in now. So what we do is my 9line basically is kind of like a business consulting type of company where I approach a business, and I want to talk to these businesses about their telecommunication, their internet and network management, physical cybersecurity, utility audit. And really what I do is I go in and I say, let me take a look at your phone bill. Then let me see what you got. Let me see how many seats do you have? How much are you paying a month? What kind of features do you have, and what kind of features do you want? And then, because of my relationships with, I have these key relationships in the IT telecommunications. What that allows me to do is compile, 5 or more proposals from different providers, and to get you, the best service at the most affordable cost. And a lot of times I can save people money, or I can, or get them more features for the same amount of money that they're using. And that's kind of what I do across the board with all of these different services, and even more, but these are kind of the main ones. Like, for example, the utility audit. A lot of businesses don't realize how much money they're really wasting in utility costs, and the utility companies are, they're usually taking more money than they need or they should. So it's kind of a shocker sometimes when you find out, oh my gosh, I'm overpaying like crazy. So that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of what the offering is. It's really consultant on all these types of services that operate on a network, which is all of these that are kind of listed. So yeah, next slide. So, and how it works, kind of explain more, it's about those vendor relationships like I told you about. So I have these key relationships where I have hundreds and hundreds of different vendors that I can pull on like that really quick to get the different proposals. And what that's good for is I can also make, what that allows me to do is also make those vendors compete with each other, which helps me get a really good price for clients. So the multiple proposals, getting these multiple proposals for a client very quickly, faster than the client usually could get that many proposals. And the cool thing is, it's of no cost to a client. The vendors is who pays me. So let's say, I go in and I talk to a business client and they need new internet, and there's 3 different internet companies that service that area, and I get them. This actually just happened to me. I have internet at my house, and I got that internet, 3 or so years ago. Well, I just decided one day to call my internet provider and ask, hey, can I update my internet? Well, turns out that I actually was able to get a whole gigabyte worth of speed. at the same cost I was already paying for like 75 megs up and down. And because technology has moved and the internet's gotten faster, but they had just kept me on that same plan. And that happens a lot in business too, where you've had business or internet for a while at your office or wherever, and you don't even realize that their internet speeds have changed, and there's a good chance you might be overpaying for the speed you're at right now, so you can get even faster speed. I see that happen a lot. But the cool thing is, it's at no
warning in progress.
I got some serious feedback going. It's at no cost to you, so the vendors is who pays me. So if that happens and the client comes to me and we find them a good proposal, a good service, the vendor pays me on their end. It doesn't change the pricing, or it doesn't influence the discounted price I could get you. Like they're just paying me a percentage of whatever that monthly payment is. Next slide. So a lot of people, are like, well, you're basically a middleman, and I'm not going to argue with that. Like I like to be real with people, and I guess you could look at it like that. I like to call myself a consultant because it just sounds better on my ears, and but yeah, I mean, you can go to a vendor yourself and directly, and I just wanted to lay out some of the pros and cons of that. So if you're just like, I don't want to see other proposals, and I just want to quickly just get this new service or whatever, then yeah, go direct, because you're going to go to that one vendor, and you're going to get that proposal pretty quick, and it's obviously a more hands-on approach for just going direct, like you're in total control of it. And so yeah, but the consultant route, you're going to get those multiple vendor proposals, will allow them to compete, those bids to compete. They want to beat the others, and I can kind of pit them against each other to get a good price. It also saves you time if you got a lot of stuff going, and this is something that you want to get done, but you don't have time to just sit there and do the research and get on the phone with AT&T, and get on the phone with Verizon, or get on the phone with all the different phone companies, or whoever, the 8x8s and all this other stuff. Then it might be good to use a consultant, because it's not going to cost you any money. And then obviously, like, once that happens, I will be a point of contact for you from that point on. Like, I would say that if people are having service issues, your first call should always be to the service provider. But if you're having a hard time getting a hold of the service provider, you can always reach out to me, because I have a different channel and different contacts within those companies. So I might be able to get stuff done for you if you can't get it done yourself, as far as like, if you're having an outage or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of the pros for each, for direct versus consultant. And then you can go next slide. And then the cool thing is, it costs you nothing. Like I said, so there's really, no excuse for you guys not to use it now. If it costs you nothing to use a veteran services, you might as well. And that's kind of my whole approach to it is, like you guys, I have a heart for veterans, especially veteran business owners, because I am one. And most of us here are either entrepreneurs or successful in our fields, whatever they may be. I was very encouraged to see, when everybody was going around the room, hearing about all of these different entrepreneurs out there. I love that stuff. I love seeing veterans stepping up and creating business. And I've always thought that, hey, if veterans could just kind of come together in a community, man, that would be awesome. Because I know we love to work together. I know it. And it's true. It's just I feel like we're a little disorganized. And I think that's what this chamber is doing a really good job about, is really trying to organize and saying, hey, this is a place for us to do business together, because there's so many different programs out there. There's over here, you got all these different programs, and a lot of times veterans don't even know where to start. The resources are out there, but it's almost like too much. There's not one central place where you're like, okay, this is where I go to do some business networking. This is where I go to, there's just a lot out there. So I think if we can keep organizing like this, I think it's really gonna help us all out. And like I said, I love doing business with other veterans. So I would encourage you guys, if you yourself have, any of these things that I talked about, or if you're just curious, just give me a call, shoot me an email, send me your phone bill, send me your internet bill, send me, whatever it is you want me to look at, anything that touches the network, anything that runs on the network, I can do. Send me the bill, send me whatever, and I will churn out 3 to 5 proposals for you, and we can look at it. Or if you want to upgrade your features that you have, upgrade the service you have, let me know. Or if you know anybody, and my big thing is it's cool because I get to add this service to people and it doesn't cost them anything. So obviously I want to try to find the best deal for other veterans that I can, or any client really, but especially the other veterans. So that's pretty much my 9 line in a nutshell. I will tell you, if y'all, on the side note, Chris was, when he introduced me, was referring to my other company called Roid Rage. And I know this presentation is not about that. I'll just do a quick shameless plug real quick, that it's really funny. Check it out. It's called Roid Rage. So it's spelled RRHOID. So like short for hemorrhoids, and it's a hemorrhoidal treatment company. And it's basically taking the Black Rifle Coffee poopery type approach and making hemorrhoids funny, because it's usually embarrassing for people. And believe it or not, I was seeing I was at the VA clinic one day and getting myself checked out. And I asked the doctor, I'm like, hey doc, how many vets come in with this problem that have hemorrhoids? And he's like, a lot of veterans have hemorrhoids. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So, so I guess it's a veteran problem. Hemorrhoids kill everyone apparently, but so yeah, there it is right there. That's it. So yeah, let us help you with your butt problems. Yeah. So, and we're supposed to be launching our product, at least the ointment is supposed to be hitting stores, the end of this year, this holiday season. So, we want to compete with Preparation H and some of these. I think we can compete just from being so different. So, check it out. I have some funny videos, and I'm going to be creating more funny content as we get closer to launch. But so yeah, that's it. I'd love to answer any questions or just have a discussion with everybody.
Well, thank you, Trey. For those who have questions, feel free on either business.
I thought you made the transition very smoothly from my 9 life to hemorrhoids. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like my 9 line, right?
Yeah, exactly. But for your booty.
Yeah. Well, that was funny. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I love the creativity and the tie-in to 9 line and to your line of service. I think that's a brilliant connection. So kudos for that. I think that's a very cool business positioning and name.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Trey, this is Paul Hendricks. I run the Veteran Center of North Texas, and part of our job is extensive intake and analysis of our veteran clients' financial situation.
Mhm.
And when we do the budget worksheet, which is key to finding out why people are having difficulty making their payments and staying afloat, we find that just like you're talking about, their internet bills, telephone bills, utility bills are out of control.
Mhm.
And a good lot of times they're way behind because of the compounding issues of not making payments and things are too high.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we try to do is, of course, work with all of the providers there and get those bills reduced or a payment plan.
Yeah.
But in particular on cell phones. So cell phones are, the marketing people, especially the Apple people, make you feel like you got to throw away your phone and buy a new one all the time, which is, just criminal, I think, because those phones are really, really expensive. And you got a family of 4 or 5, and everybody's got to have one of those $1,500 phones. And internet's the same way. You got to have Netflix and Hulu and da 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 da. And so you've seen the same thing.
Oh yeah.
What we have a hard time doing is getting relief. And so when people owe a ton of money, and we say, hey, you can, instead of going with, I'll give you an example here, and I'm not trying to badmouth any particular service, but let's say they have AT&T phones and their phone is, they got a $1,500 phone bill or something.
Mhm.
And I say, you can go to T-Mobile and get a veterans rate much cheaper.
Mhm.
And that may not be the case, but I'm using that as an example.
And Paul, they're just really good at marketing.
Who's that?
Everybody that you're talking about.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
really
yeah,
good at
yeah.
getting in people's pockets. They're good at marketing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's good on them, but bad on, because there are, we have some veterans that are just sort of naive, I think, and will spend money way more than they have. So here's my question. What can you do to help when we get people over their head and around the corner we can pay those bills, but we got to stop the bleeding and get them reestablished at a low rate that they can live with and not just get their utilities cut off, their phone cut off, and so on. What's your recommendation?
Yeah, well, I would say that, one route that you can do is you could send me the information that they have, what they're currently paying and what services they have, their current bills. And what I can do is then I can use my channels to see if I can assist, by getting multiple proposals and telling the vendors that, like, hey, this is a veteran-owned company, so I want any kind of veteran discount you have on top of also making them compete with each other. So really, really trying to, get them down as far as I can, especially while maintaining all the good features and services that the, client would need or the veteran would need. So I would say I would definitely be a good source, another source to try to alleviate some of that. Cause like you said, yeah, I definitely know some people are bleeding out a little bit as far as overhead and that kind of stuff. So, and you're never batting 100%, right? Like there are times where I'm like, man, like you're already, like this does happen sometimes where somebody's already at, pretty much the lowest that a company is going to offer. That happens sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't. And a lot of times there is some wiggle room, at least a little bit. And then there's plenty of times where there's, there can save a lot of money. So yeah, I'd say just use me as a resource if you need to help out with that. I'd love to.
Okay.
There's no
great.
way.
So I assume you're.
Yeah, I'm going to start with their activities. Yeah, they're just downstairs talking about that right now.
Yeah, Trey, I didn't see your information in the side. Would you mind posting it in there?
Sure. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'll just put that in there real quick. Sorry about that.
While Trey is typing, it is not uncommon for us to see a family with a $3,000 or $4,000 back cell phone bill and equivalent in utilities, and they just wonder what's going on. It's amazing when some of the families just have such low income.
You said how many?
Yeah,
$1,000 cell phone bill?
It's multiple months.
Oh my gosh.
they'll finance all those new devices and all those new phones and put those on their cell phone bills. Yeah, it's a vicious circle for sure.
Yeah.
So Trey, I did have a question. What when you're working with businesses, what specific telecommunications companies are you partnering with to help get those rates lowered, or do you just kind of use all of them?
Yeah, so it's pretty much all of them. And the way I'm able to do that is, and if anybody's ever come from the IT telecommunication world, they're probably familiar with basically the channel industry, right? So that's how I have that. So there's these companies called master agencies within the telco world, and the master agency has relationships with pretty much all of the main providers that you could think of and more. They have relationships with providers you've never heard of. And what that allows me to do is, because I have an agreement with several master agencies, is I in turn have an agreement with all of the vendors or providers that they're in relationship with. So basically how it works is somebody says, I need to come up with a telephone proposal or telco proposal. Then I call my master agency. I'm like, hey, here's this information. I need 5 proposals for this area, and I want the best companies and that's how I get it started. And then they send it up, and then next thing I know, I've got 5 proposals in my inbox. And that's usually how it works. So it's really all of them you can think of, you know, the 8x8, the Vonage, Nexiva, all of them. So yeah.
All right. Any other questions out there?
I see Stuart's hands.
I've got to unmute there. Trey, I live in a community. Everybody, you know, you see on Nextdoor, people say, you know, I'm looking for faster internet speed. And for instance, I see a lot of people saying, oh, AT&T fiber optic. I live in a community that doesn't have AT&T fiber optic capability. So we're kind of, you know, strangled by having to go with another company. I'm currently with Spectrum. Are there options for people that are kind of locked into a certain company to, you know, flip and go to another company for better service?
Yeah, so it definitely matters where you're at, right? There's service area maps that, like, you know, for example, I could go where I'm at right now. I can go with Frontier, Spectrum, and I think there was another one, but it does matter because, you know, infrastructure matters. And sometimes like AT&T might only have infrastructure in these areas. But one way around that is I do have access to satellite internet companies and satellite internet providers. So if you're really unhappy with like your internet provider and the other ones are you're just kind of in an area where they're the only sheriff in town, really, we can look at satellite options, and satellite internet has gotten a lot better over the years. So it just depends. We'd have to look at your internet, look at what you want, and see if any of these other satellite options are a good option for you. And I can look at that. I can look at that for you, you know, and just see, you know, it doesn't hurt to take a look at it.
I don't really have a question, just to comment about how much price difference. Our phone bill went from $270 to $40, and I like my $40 one better. It's 8x8. You mentioned that one.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what was the question?
No, it wasn't a question. It was just a comment. How much money you can save just by looking our phone.
Oh yeah. Well, no,
270 to 40.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, how much people, you know, can save, and you know, it is crazy. Now I'll say, like, a lot of people, especially if you're on it, like if you haven't looked at what you're using in services in a while, it's good. You might want to look at it, because like you just said, you can easily save $40 a month or more, and you're overpaying for service that you can even increase the features you have and get better service and still be saving, because technology keeps going, and these companies aren't going to call you up and say, hey, we noticed that 5 years ago you got our services, but we've got a lot better services now, and they're not going to tell you you're overpaying. They're just going to keep you at the services you're at and keep you paying what you're paying. So unless you're checking, you know, that's going to happen.
You know, yeah. I follow up on what Trey just said. Always check your bills every couple of months and everything, because a lot of your providers, what they do is they sneak in an extra $1 here every month for some kind of charge that you don't know what it is. And you know, just do the math. If any of these companies that's got 1 million customers adds $1 to everybody's bills, that adds another $1 million to their pocket every month. So you go in on the ground floor and you get a really good deal, and then all of a sudden, a few months later, there's another little add-on charge and another little add-on. So it is a good idea to check it out. And if you see it's growing, get in touch with Trey. Like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Trey, a quick question. A lot of the big guys also own a discount provider, and they use the same infrastructure. So if it's the same infrastructure, why not use the discount provider? Could you speak to that?
Like what discount providers? Like, what are you referring to? Like,
they have different names. The names don't come to me, but these secondary.
Metro
companies.
PCS or,
Yeah.
you know, those small
Oh.
cell phone providers and stuff.
Even smaller than that, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you that in cell phones, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check. Whoa, that was weird. Anyways, sorry. It's like lightning, and I thought it just like knocked out the power for a second. It was weird. Anyways, yeah, I'll have to check and see what. Because I honestly don't do a whole lot of stuff with cell phones. I think we do have some providers for that. And I'm gonna, after we get off this call, I'm gonna call and see what's going on with that. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't done a whole lot of cell phones. I usually have done a lot of like office type of telco, like with you know, soft phones and actually hard phones, you know, office phones and that kind of stuff. But let me look into the cell phone stuff. Because I know that we have some stuff going on within the channel about that. And I can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey, for the presentation. Thanks, everybody, for all the great questions and participation. Just a reminder, if you want to present to the chamber, my information is in the chat. So just shoot me an email, give me a call, and we'll get you scheduled to be a member spotlight speaker. It's part of you know, the benefit that you get for being a member of the chamber. So if you're not a member, it's a great opportunity to go ahead and sign up, become a member of the chamber, and then we can get you highlighted on one of our Friday meetings.